Good day for everybody and everywhere. So we did the direct transmission. How is the first statement of Garabdorje? So with this, then what we should do? For example, if we are following Dzogchen teaching, then we should go in the essence of practice. Which is the essence of practice? That is Guru Yoga. In the Dzogchen teaching, what we ask people, practitioners, what should do? We are not asking you should chant mantras. We are not asking you to do visualizations. But you should do Guru Yoga. What it means real Guru Yoga? Because Guru Yoga is all Vajrayana tradition. They do different way in Guru Yoga, with visualization, etc. But in the Dzogchen way, Guru Yoga is, we are using that symbol of three primordial states, sound and light and rays. You remember that is in a five colored of Chile, just like this. That presents our primordial potentiality. We do this visualization, sounding R. In the same time, then we do this visualization. That represents our primordial state. And then we relax in that state. No more thinking. Because any kind of we are thinking and judging, that is not so really for being in our real nature. That is mind level. Just like reflections, not the real nature of the potentiality of middle, in example. We need to be in relaxed state. Just being that presence. This is being then in a state of the Guru Yoga. Even you are remaining only few seconds, already that's in Guru Yoga. Even you don't do any invocation, not chanting any mantra. So we can do then always in Guru Yoga practice. Guru Yoga practice is main practice in the Dzogchen. For example, when we wake up early morning, what we should do first thing, if we are not distracted, we do Guru Yoga. If there are possibilities to sound and doing visualization, okay, we do that way. But sometimes we couldn't do sound because we are maybe sleeping with someone else. That other person is sleeping. You woke up and you are sounding R, it is not so nice. You are not paying respect to another person. But it is not indispensable, sounding R, always doing Guru Yoga. Even it is sufficient, you do that visualization with your exhaling deeply. That is also sufficient. And we can concretely feel that visualization. So important is we do Guru Yoga. Because morning when we wake up, that is the start point of our one day. Then if we have present, we feel to do Guru Yoga, any moment we can do Guru Yoga. I am always asking my students, many students, they are still smoking cigarettes. They remember always a cigarette. After a few minutes, nobody needs to say, oh, your cigarette. No, you remember always. If you remember Guru Yoga, something like that, it is fantastic. Even you don't remember, I am asking, you combine with cigarette. When you are taking one cigarette, oh, Guru Yoga. For make remember with cigarette. being in a state of Guru Yoga, even only a few seconds, that is a supreme purification also for having total realization. That's the real path. Then in the night time also, it is very important we do Guru Yoga practice. Many people say, oh, I want to learn practice of night. Some people say, I want to learn practice of dream. Of course, there exist many different methods, particularly in a Vajrayana system. But even you don't know many complicated things, it's sufficient you do Guru Yoga. When you are being on a bed, you remember, oh, I should do Guru Yoga. You are doing that visualization, relax, continually relax the state, you fall asleep. If you are succeed later, also your dream, then become awareness. Awareness, it means you know you are dreaming, but you are still sleeping. It becomes very important for practitioners. Also, that is very important for training, learning. If one day we are dying, what we should do? Many people, they say, oh, for dying we should learn Powa. Transferring. Powa exists three kinds of Powa, related with Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya. Nimanakaya is more material aspect. This is what we are doing Powa in general. All teachers, they are teaching and applying. Also, that is good if you learned very well and you have that capacity. But not so very easy in Powa, Nimanakaya and Powa. When you are dying, you are succeeded to do that. Because when you are dying, not you are dying comfortably in your room. That moment is called the bardo of moment of death. Not ordinary life. That moment dissolving all your function of elements innerly. Dissolving all functions of senses. Each of them are dissolving in their real nature. Ordinary people, they can have very strong experiences. Not so very easy if you are really prepared well for that moment you are doing complicated visualizations. But that is not a unique way. In Powa also we have Sambhogakaya Powa. That means people who are doing transformation practices. Like we are transforming impure vision, inner pure vision. Our dimension is transforming like a mandala. Our existence, body, speech, mind, all transforming like manifestations. So we trained that all our life, and then we are becoming more and more familiar with that. When we are noticing we are dying, we transfer in a pure dimension. Also for doing this, you need such kind of capacity, your transformation. This is Anudan Powa. That is a more higher Powa than ordinary Powa. There is still more higher Powa is Powa of Dharmakaya. That means relatively there is nothing to do. But we trained all the whole life, if we are Dzogchen practitioner, we are doing Guru Yoga. We are not remaining in a condition of mind. Immediately when we are being in a state of Guru Yoga, we are being in instant presence. So we learned that. We applied that. If you are Dzogchen practitioner, you are becoming familiar with Guru Yoga, when you notice you are dying, you are being in a state of instant presence. Your body is dying. Your body has also all then manifestations of the bardo of death, dissolving everything. But you are not a slave of the feeling and the fear of all these problems. Because you are being in your nature. Your real nature is just like a real potentiality of a mirror, not reflections. What manifests suffering, fear, everything is just like reflections in a mirror. You notice what is happening, but you are being in your nature. You see then how is important in Guru Yoga. Guru Yoga is essence teaching of all. How we can discover our real nature. Then teacher introduce explaining how we do experiences of emptiness or clarity, etc. Using that, and we are discovering our real nature. So being in that state, even very few moments, this is called Guru Yoga. So we are sounding up and being in that presence. Then we do Guru Yoga. For example, in our practice in the Dzogchen community, we have short tune, medium tune, longer tune. You know already the tune, it means limited time we are spending. For example, if we have only half hour of time, then we do short tune. First of all, we do then Guru Yoga, because the Guru Yoga is main practice. Guru means teacher. Teacher, it doesn't mean only figure of teacher, ordinary way. It means a teacher what introduced to you your real nature for discovery. When you discover the your nature, that is also real nature of your teacher, real nature of Garabdhoje, of Samedabhadra. There is no difference. So we received that from the teacher. Not we are receiving from Garabdhoje or Samedabhadra. So we are recognizing that, and we do Guru Yoga. In the Dzogchen teaching also, when you do Guru Yoga, you must go beyond any kind of limitations. What it means limitations? In general, all traditions, they have their limitation of traditions, lineage. It is saying, oh, this is the Nimapa lineage, this is the Kadyupa, this is the Gelupa, this is the Sachapa. So when we are limited that way, always we are remaining in limitation. Limitation is the source of the samsara, not the source of the realization. We must understand that. We should go beyond that. For example, in the Dzogchen teaching, even we do Vajrayana style, formal Guru Yoga, but we are not going limited way. Guru Padmasambhava taught, even though like a form of Guru Padmasambhava or Guru Garabdhoje, we are not doing only with the limited lineage of Nimapa or Dzogchen or something. First of all, we must understand why we are doing Guru Yoga practice. For realizing totally ourselves. If we realize ourselves, we can do benefit to all sentient beings. We know all sentient beings, they are suffering in a samsara. If we have no realization, we couldn't do benefit for others. For that reason, we are following teaching and doing practice. Not we are doing practice of Gelupa or Satyapa or Nyimapa or Kajepa for supporting traditions. Not we are doing Guru Yoga support of our teachers. No. We are doing for our realization. In this case, we must do our best. What it means, our best. We do going beyond limitations. So Guru Padmasambhava explained, when you do Guru Yoga, you must have understanding of unified all teachers or all enlightened beings and do Guru Yoga that way. Kundu Izinov, that means unified all. Our practitioners in their life, they can meet many teachers. They can receive many teachings of Vajrayana. All teachings must be then positive for having total realization, not negative. If we are limited, then become negative. Say, oh, I am doing only Nyimapa tradition, lineages. I don't care other lineages. If you received already from Gelupa teaching, from Bamboo teaching, you are not integrating, then it doesn't correspond for maintaining also your commitments. Particularly when you are receiving initiations in a Vajrayana system, always there is commitment. Teacher introduces you the path. Why? Because you want to practice and realize. For that reason they are introducing. There is no reason otherwise they introduce you the path. So when you are receiving and you are not then practicing, of course then you are not keeping samaya of that. If we want to do practice, everything we received then in our life, how we can do? It is impossible. Particularly there are some kinds of initiations in the Satyapa tradition, like Juddha Kuntu, that means is unified all tantras, high tantra and the lower tantras. I received that for 9 months it takes. In the Nyimapa tradition there are many these kinds, also like Rinchen Tenzo, all collection of Tenzo. In Kajepa tradition, also there are collection this kind of teachings. There is no way how we can then do all practices. If we received 10 initiations, 10 different lineages, not all exist, only one lineage. But if we know that teachings and initiations we receive from teacher. For example, we are receiving initiation of Kalachakra from His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is then teacher. We are not receiving from Kalachakra. We have no capacity to have contact with Kalachakra. Maybe Dalai Lama is manifesting Kalachakra even we are not seeing. And we received also that method how we transform in Kalachakra. This is teaching. But we received from Dalai Lama. Not only Dalai Lama, but also many other teachers belonging to different traditions, systems. So you see then, all teachings we receive from teachers called Lama. In Sanskrit called Guru. Guru Yoga means that. We are being in a state of Guru. We are not remaining only one Guru, one form only. Because we unify, this is Guru Padmasambhava, how explained. Kundu Izinov, that means unify all. Not necessarily you are unified all bodies of all teachers. This is not possible. But all teachers, they have three Vajras: body, speech, mind, their real state. That represents with three syllables, ahum. When we do any kind of formal Vajrayana style of Guru Yoga, then there is always, we are using these three Vajras. When we are doing like a Dzogchen practice, also three Vajras included, everything is in a white R. We are knowing that this is a primordial state. Primordial state of our all teachers, unified already there. We have that knowledge, and then we are doing Guru Yoga that way. Not necessarily we are remaining limited way. This is not good. But also you must understand, this is the Dzogchen way. If you are living in some other traditional schools, and you are following teaching, etc., you must not discuss with them. You say, oh, you should do, they unified all. This is very important in the Dzogchen, but they are not Dzogchen practitioners. Why you do discussion with them? You should pay respect for them. It is better in this case, you are be silent. But you do your best for having total realization. And all teachings which you received become useful for your development of knowledge. Because if you are not keeping samaya, it is a negative. If you know how unify all, you are applying, you have no any problem of samaya. This is Dzogchen way, Dzogchen method. And in Guru Yoga, you do that way. With the R. Already you did then. If you have more time to do Guru Yoga, particularly if you have no knowledge sufficient discovering your real nature, then you need also using Son of Vajra. Son of Vajra is coming from Upadesha Tantra of Dzogchen. It is explained, very important for having also discovering our real nature. We are not insisting only methods what we received, but we are singing, relaxing in that sound. No need any visualizations, because we are not working with mind. We are being beyond that. Then we are singing Son of Vajra, and arise also your knowledge, you wake up. That is said in Dzogchen Tantra. So when we do Guru Yoga, after Guru Yoga, we are singing also Son of Vajra. This is one way. When you have not much time, you do only with R, any moment. But if you don't do Guru Yoga practice, that means then you are not a Dzogchen practitioner. Even you are not doing many ritual things, tunes, singing, chanting, etc. But if you do Guru Yoga, you are dealing with Guru Yoga, you are Dzogchen practitioner. Even you have known now totally knowledge of your real nature, but then arise, develop. There is no problem. So for example, in a short stone, I give you this transmission of Lung, first of all, because it is connected with Guru Yoga. We do with white R and Chile, we do Guru Yoga. After that, we are using this mantra of purification. Eho Shuddha Shuddha, Yam Ho Shuddha Shuddha, Pam Ho Shuddha Shuddha, Ram Ho Shuddha Shuddha, Lam Ho Shuddha Shuddha, Eyam Parano Shuddha Shuddha Svaha. These mantras are related with 5 elements. 5 elements is very important. even in our relative condition. If our function of all 5 elements perfect way, we have no any problem. When we have some physical problem, energy problem, etc., that means always disordered our elements. We need to coordinate. If disordered, we are becoming passive. When we are passive, we receive all negativities. So this mantra is very powerful for coordinating, strengthening our energy, etc. After that, then we are doing Guru Yoga with 3 R. First R, you know, we do visualization, our primordial state R. Then with the second R, when we are sounding from white R, spread infinite lights in all universe, all dimensions, coming, doing contact with all enlightened beings. That means we are acting for enlightened beings, because enlightened beings, they have infinite wisdom of the quantity and qualities. But if we are not acting, we couldn't receive. So for that reason, we should work. Now we are sounding third R, we remember them, we receive infinite lights from them that represent their wisdoms, empowerments, and dissolve in our white R and Tila. And also that light is spreading in our physical body. Physical body is also material body, production of our karma. Also it is then dissolving in a real nature. And everything is there manifest, something like a pure dimension of nature of elements. And we are relaxing in that state. And then we are singing Son of Vajra. Singing Son of Vajra, it means all syllables of Son of Vajra represent center energy of all our chakras of Vajra body. So we are connecting with that. This is very important for integration with our physical body in the real nature. So we sing Son of Vajra that way. Only we are dealing with sounds, what we are pronouncing one by one. We are being present in that clarity, relaxing, nothing else. We are thinking, judging, doing visualization. Singing Son of Vajra is not prayer. We are not praying anyone. But we are just being in our real nature of Samhita Vajra. This is most important thing. So that is supreme then, become Guru Yoga. So this is the Son of Vajra. Ema kiri kiri matsa bali bali samada suru suru kutali matsu ekara suru batai chigera bulu batai samada chaya sugai beta sana bikula sakare dukana matare vaitana parali hisana makata kela nam sambarata makachanda pasuya bata raipa sana parane bidi sagurala pa masmin saguli tayapa gura gura saka kanalam narandara ita patalam suna suna besa rais pulam bunda bunda chija sakelam sasa lili lili meme ra till end of this Son of Vajra, we are being in a state of Guru Yoga. After that, then we are applying also transformation on the yoga system instantly. With the 3 Hum, we are transforming. So this is not really Dzogchen system, on yoga system, because in the Dzogchen teaching, when we need to use transformation exactly, we are using more than Anu Yoga system. Because principle of knowledge of Anu Yoga and the Dzogchen is very similar. For that reason, more easy also. We are sounding Hum, that moment, instead of white R, manifest the blue Hum. that represents our primordial state. When we are sounding second home, then spread infinite lights in all directions, communicating to all enlightened beings. When we are sounding third home, we receive infinite lights from enlightened beings that represent their wisdoms. That moment, with that potentiality of the lights, we are transformed instantly, like in Guru Thakur. Guru Thakur is unified many different manifestations, like a rightful manifestation of the Chateau, Yonda Heruka, or Vajrapani, Hayangirva, Garuda, and Vajrakilaya, all are unified. If you don't know how looks like in Garuda, etc., this manifestation of Guru Thakur, then you'll see here in this book of the practice, there is a figure which looks like color, etc. You are feeling something that way. You don't need any way. Gradually you are doing visualization long time, or you are reading, etc. But you need that knowledge, understanding, and you feel that. More important is you are feeling, not you are seeing. In a gradual transformation, then they are giving importance also when you do visualization, you are seeing something. But in the Anu Yoga tradition, more important is feeling. You feel really alive, something, that manifestation. Even you can start it gradually, but at the end, you couldn't have very detailed everything in your mind. You have only a global idea that you can have also in the Anu Yoga tradition. When you are looking well, you think something like that. This is sufficient for transforming. And then you feel also center of that manifestation, there is a letter Hum, because Hum represents always Vajra family, like Vajrapani. And you are chanting mantras, then mantra letters, turning this center Hum clockwise. Most letters face the outside and turning clockwise. And then turning quicker, and you chant mantra. At the end, you couldn't see letters, only like a red ring. It is very important you keep that present when you are chanting mantra. That way you can produce function of mantra. This is the mantra of Guru Thakur. Om Arti Neti Kilaya Hum She Tam Pat. If you are manifesting in Sinhamukha, darkening of the wisdom, then you see how it looks like Sinhamukha also. You can transform with 3 Hum just like how you did in Guru Thakur. Same way. Only difference is when you are chanting mantra, in the center there is the blue Hum, but mantras are more or less faced inside to the Hum, and then turning counterclockwise. And you are keeping that presence in the chanting mantra. This is the mantra of Sinhamukha, Akasamarata, Chandara, Samaraya, Pat. There is different mantras, but this is a universal mantra of all Dakinis, particularly used for Sinhamukha. It is very, very powerful mantra if you have confidence. Many people say, oh, I have a problem of black magic. Someone is sending black magic to me. There is not exist any kind of a black magic you can receive and disrupt for you if you are doing practice of Guru, the Dakini Singamukha. It is called Jaman Buntu. Bum, it means 100,000. This is the quantity of bum. Not only one black magic. 100,000 black magic surrounded, and also they are putting directly to you. You couldn't receive. You can eliminate all. Only chant the mantra of Singamukha. But if you have no confidence, then it doesn't work. So it is a very important mantra. Sometimes when you are receiving negativities continually, you send back also. How there was also history of Guru Padmasambhava. For sending back this man's action, you are reciting reverse this mantra. Instead of Akasamarata Shandara Samaraya Pe, you can recite Pe Yaramasaranta Shataramasaka. This is reversed. But you recite only few times. This is very powerful mantra. That is sufficient. So we use these practices for integrating any kind of manifestations. We are not going too much after title, forms, etc. There is infinite there. But we integrate everything in essence. If you know how to integrate in essence, it is sufficient. Only doing like to practice manifestation of Dakini and manifestation of Heruka like Guru Thakur. Sufficient. So then there is a Hum. When you are pronouncing Hum, you manifest it, Guru Thakur or Dakini Singamukha. You communicate also Dhammapalas, guardians. Communicate. They have these commitments for protecting, teaching, also practitioners, etc. When we do more time, then we do pujas of guardians. When we have no much time, only we use Hum and we communicate. That is also sufficient. And then we do Dopa. Dopa, it means eliminating negativities. Ayamanduru Sashana Samaya Hum Pepenjonjo Dodonjo Doji. And then we dedicate Mary. So this is called short tune. Very short. We can do. Very, very essence. Practices all. So in general, I'm giving teaching, many times we start always with Guru Yoga. We should do practice together. But today we have no much time. Only I am giving that transmission. And tomorrow we start doing Guru Yoga. And then there are teaching also. That is the reason I am giving this transmission now. Now I am going to give you the teaching of three statements of Garabdoje. Already we did the first statement. But this is then root taste of this teaching. This text is wrote down and transmitted by Bimala Mitra. Bimala Mitra is the time of Guru Padmasambhava. We have Dzogchen lineage. Most important teachers is Guru Padmasambhava and Bimala Mitra. There is all series which is called Bima Hintik, essential of the teaching of Bimala Mitra. So we can find these three statements of Garabdoje there. How explained this taste? Then I am giving you this transmission. I received this transmission. I applied this transmission. For that reason, then I am giving you now. So, how is it saying this teaching? The title is saying, Garabdoji Sisonet Depaju. Garabdoji is the most important teacher of the Dzogchen. You know already. Siksong, it means 3 statements, 3 words. Nedudepa, it means most important point, touching, for the knowledge of Dzogchen. This is the title. Namo Shirin Guru Ye, that means they paying homage to the Guru, from whom he received that transmission. Rongri Tobdela Chamtalo, they pay homage. This is more tradition of Buddhist system. When we are writing some books, exactly then we are paying homage to someone. For example, sometimes we say we pay homage to Buddha. Sometimes we say we pay homage Manjushri, in example. In the Dzogchen teaching, then, they have a little different way. Most the Dzogchen texts, original texts. Here is saying, we pay homage to our real nature, state of ourself. Topideng, it means our understanding, which we have confidence. This is our primordial state. Not we are paying homage to someone outside. We are thinking there is Samedabhadra and we pay respect. No. We are paying in our real nature. Then you can understand which way Dzogchen teaching is going, in which direction. Yimba tuba me pe ripande, ranon chasu chemo mangope, non si konjo chukishin ducha, shawate ni rong to troll. Yimba tuba me pe ripa de, that means our instant presence. You know, ripa, it means instant presence, what we discovered. That is really ripa, understanding. Not understanding intellectual way, but we are discovering. Understanding intellectual way and we are discovering it's completely two different. I told you, no? When I am going to follow, to receive teaching from my teacher, Changchu Dorje, he asked me, what you studied? I said, I studied Sutra, Tantra. Particularly, I studied Madhyamika, Yogacara. This book, that book, logic, everything I am explaining, that's the truth I studied. And I was also very proud that period, because I am thinking I know very well everything. So then, one day I remember my teacher said, your mouth is Madhyamika, your nose is logic. He is a little way of joking, saying that. I thought, because he never studied. He is a practitioner, maybe he did practice, but he never studied. I studied everything. That's why he is saying. So you see why I am proud? Because I studied, I believe, I know everything. Because that is mental aspect, mental knowledge. Not missing that. But I am not knowing real sense of teaching is something we need to discover. I never heard that before. I remember also when I was in college, it is very important example. You must understand. I am studying Prajnaparamita Alankara test of originally Maitreya. It is very important test for explaining knowledge of the Prajnaparamita. First time when I studied, it seems not so very difficult. Second time when I studied also with commentary, etc., it's much more difficult. Third time when I studied again this test, because very important test, really very difficult test. At the end, I have no idea what is really conclusion is saying and which is the conclusion. Then I was very surprised. Other books, when I am studying one time, two times, three times, then become very easy. One day then I went to my teacher. I said, my teacher asked, why I am finding difficult, always becoming more and more difficult. My teacher said, in this book, explaining firstly, knowledge, qualification, quality, everything of like our hearts, and then more Hinayana style of levels. Second is then explaining Mahayana. And then third level is enlightened being like Buddha Shakyamuni, which is qualification of Dhammakaya, Sambhogakaya, Nimanakaya. There is all this kind of explanation. And my teacher said, because my teacher of college, he is also Dzogchen practitioner. He is a student of Zhengar Rinpoche. I told you already that. He told me, oh, you try to understand a little, not thinking always, only explaining quality of our hearts and bodhisattvas and the Buddhas. But you turn a little in you, and observing and thinking a little, maybe it helps, become more easier. I didn't understand what it meant. I returned in my home. I am reading. There is nothing compared with me, my condition. I didn't find anything. So it doesn't help at all. So passed many years. Later I received the teaching from my teacher Changchu Dorje. Then I discovered it is necessary we discover our real nature. This is the principle of Dzogchen teaching. And I am becoming Dzogchen practitioner. Then later I arrived in Italy. I am working with Professor Tucci. There are so many books in the library of Tucci. One day I saw Prajnaparamita Alankara test, which test we used studying in college. Then slowly I am bringing this book in my home, and I am reading. Maybe 1 week or 2 weeks I am reading, because it seems very difficult that moment. But now when I am reading, it's very easy. And also I understood what it meant, my teacher of college, saying you observe in you. Now I know how to observe. Before I am not knowing. Even I am not knowing, we need to discover our real nature. So you see, in intellectual knowledge, we are not discovering anything. Only we are studying, judging, thinking, doing analysis. We are believing them. I know now. But discovering is something very different. So in the Dzogchen teaching, most important is we are discovering our real nature. So here is also saying that Ripa, it means we discover our real nature. what we discovered that Yimba Tuba Meba, it means there is nothing we can then justify and saying, oh, this is this, or that is that. This is the reason also in Madhyamika, then Nagarjuna is saying, I have no any confirmation concept. This is the reason. There is nothing we can say, oh, this is this. This is the Ripa, real knowledge, what we discover. When we are, instead of discovering totally ignorant of even we have that potentiality, then that is called Maripa, ignorance. So contrary is then we are being in a Ripa. Ripa, it means instant presence. Being in that, we discover. You must not go also only after words. Words of Ripa we can have also in Sutra teaching. But in Sutra teaching, in the ordinary language, Tibetan language, Ripa, it means also something like intelligence. If someone, we say, oh, this is very intelligent boy, it means it has such good capacity to understand good or bad. So that is not instant presence, no? So there are many words which we are using in the Sutra teaching and Dzogchen teaching. Same words but not same meaning. Just like Spanish language and the Italian language. We have same words sometimes. For example, in Italian we say burro. Burro, it means butter in Italian. But in Spanish, same word, burro, it means donkey, no? That is the example. Change meaning. For example, we have bodhicitta in Sanskrit. That word, Chanchuji Sen in Tibetan, we use in Dzogchen, we use also in a Sutra teaching. Sutra teaching, Chanchuji Sen, bodhicitta, it means something related with compassion. But in the Dzogchen teaching, Chanchuji Sen, it means our primordial state. So completely different. That's the example. Also, Ripa, it doesn't mean in the Dzogchen teaching only intelligence. Ripa, it means discovering our real nature. So, just this real state of the Ripa is just like a mirror. Mirror has that clarity, pure and limpid. For that potentiality can manifest any kind of reflections in a circumstance when there are secondary causes. Same way also, it means in our vision, we can have also pure vision, we can have also impure vision. Everything related with our circumstance. So that is the reasoning symbol of the Vajra. You see, this is we call the Vajra, but it is not real Vajra. This is symbol of Vajra in Vajrayana. You see, in the center, there is a kind of a ball. That represents our primordial potentiality in Dzogchen teaching. But that represents in Vajrayana the potentiality of the Vajra. We have this potentiality. Through that potentiality manifest, upper part, there are 5 points. Lower part, there is also 5 points. It means from this center ball can manifest 2 aspects. Why? Because when we have knowledge, understanding, then manifest 5 Dhyana Buddha, for example, and pure dimensions, all manifestations. But when we are falling in dualism vision, then we have impure vision, like 5 aggregations, 5 elements, ordinary karmic vision. Because in this way, then we have time, we have action, we are distracted with dualism vision, and we produced so many negative karma, and consequence, then infinite samsara. So both are related with this center. That's why there is possibility to transform. No need rejecting or abandoning anything. So this is the symbol of Vajra. Same way also in the Dzogchen teaching, something like in idea of Vajrayana tradition, Vajra is like this position. Because the upper and the lower, we are thinking positive and the negative, something like this, no? Because we are living in a dualism vision. But in a Dzogchen way, something like this position. We don't care pure vision or impure vision, because we are not entering in that. Self-liberate everything. So for that reason, here is saying, Ronon, Chatsu, Chen, Mangope, not interrupting, we can have any kind of manifestations, pure or impure. It depends on circumstance. Circumstances change every day. Non si konjo chukushin the sha. Now it means outside what we are seeing. Like our dimension. When we have dimension, impure kami vision, human dimension. If we are being in a pure dimension, then just like dimension of a mandala. Sit, it means then existence inside that dimension. For example, like a human being, like animals, we have in our dimension these beings. They are existence. In a pure dimension, also different kinds of manifestations of deities, etc. Nansi Kunjang, everything is Chukushin Dashara, everything is manifesting in a dimension of Dharmakaya. Why? We are not accepting and rejecting anything. We are not transforming. We have even not having concept of the pure vision and the impure vision. Everything is then just being in the real nature of the Dharmakaya. Shawatini wrong told, when you are manifesting real dimension of the Dharmakaya, just you are also self-liberated in that state. There is nothing else. It is called one day you are manifesting realization. Shawatini wrong told, just in that state you are manifesting. Then Deshi Kunji Gondupa, so in its then real sense, the essence of all Tathangatas, all enlightened beings, their real state, unified. So then, that is then concluded in 3 words of Garab Dorje. Garab Dorje gave these 3 statements for relaxing Manjushri. Because Manjushri, when Manjushri Mitra, when he is seeing Garab Dorje is manifesting a rainbow body, no more in a material, ordinary, our life condition, then he was very upset, now missing teacher. And he lost his present and falling down. And then for relaxing, then Garabdoja gave these 3 statements to Manjushri Mitra. This is the saying in this book. With these 3 statements, then we can distinguish what we are considering good or bad, etc. in dualism things. Even we are remaining saying, oh, this is a nirmanakaya, this is something positive, this is a samsara, not good, etc. We are always then remaining in a dualism vision. Even we are not remaining in this kind of attachment. Freeing from that kind, definitely, this is called detachment. For that reason then, Garabdoje gave these 3 statements. It's saying you should keep this in your heart. Heart, it means it is the essence, most essence, and you keep for yourself, for having realization, for doing practice, etc. And then, immediately there is a letter R. You know then, R is the essence of all this. We do Guru Yoga with R. Iti. Iti means also cigarette. Cigarette, it doesn't mean we are keeping cigarette, not talking other people's. Sometimes people are thinking that, oh, Dzogchen is very cigarette, we must keep cigarette. Not that way. There is also explanation of Garabdoje. If people embraced it, and there are certain knowledge of Dzogchen, even there are 100 people, you can touch, you can give that knowledge. Even 100% is not too many people. If people are not interested, they don't want, you must not give, you must not talk, you must keep cigarette, because there is no reason. It has no any benefit. In this case, even you are talking, one person is too many. So you control that way. So we are giving teaching of Dzogchen, people who are participating, who are interested. Not we are talking Dzogchen teaching in a street with the Lord speaker. No? So people who are interested, why not? Why we keep the cigarette? But we say many times, Dzogchen teaching is a cigarette because it is not so easy to understand. That nature is cigarette. If I show this object, it is not cigarette. You can see, you can touch. I am saying, oh, this is called Dorje, Vajra in Sanskrit. You are saying, you are thinking, yes, I understand that. This is not cigarette. But when I am speaking our real nature, even I am using many words, not so easy to understand. I couldn't explain. We need to do that direct introduction with method, experiences. Then we are thinking, also teacher hoping, then maybe they discovered. You know, this means a cigarette, nature cigarette, also Vajrayana teachings. Okay. Ripa chidol to tembi mengane So now we are introducing to the student, with their experience, they discover how is then Rigpa, instant presence, which is the Menga Upadesha method, very essential method. Then explaining, Ngoronto the Tepa. Ngoronto the Tepa, it means introducing directly our real nature with method. That is what we did today, this morning. This is one way, but there are many ways. Then Tachito the Japa. Tachito the Japa, it means then we have confidence, definitely, what we discovered. That is not so easy. This is the second statement of Garabdoja. Not so easy. In general, when we say Tachito the chair, it means something with our intellectual way. We say we decide. This is the unique way. We can decide everything. Today we can decide something. Maybe tomorrow we discover it is not real. No, that is a normal way in our intellectual way. For example, in a philosophy, Buddhist tradition, we have a Yogacara school. Before, also Nodepa Sutra system. When Sutra system and then like a Yogacara, when they are discussing, most scholars, they convince the Yogacara is superior. That means then Sutra style, they have missing many knowledge. Even they decided this is the final goal. But then discover. Then Yogacara school is very diffused in Mahayana. But later then Nagarjuna and they are discussing with Madhyamika. At the end also Madhyamika is considering superior than Yogacara. Because Yogacara there are also some understanding is missing. That is the example. We can decide with our intellectual way many things today. But there is no any guarantee. Because with our intellectual mind, judging, thinking, we are thinking this is logic, must be that way. And then we believe. But that is not what we are discovering. So then later we are knowing there are something missing. For that reason, when teacher introducing you, you are thinking, now I understood, I discovered my real nature. Sometimes you can have perfect way. But many times you discover something, but you have a little doubt, thinking maybe, may not be. Then what you should do? If you are being in a real your nature, it must be perfect way. You are remaining in the doubt, that is not then perfect base. So in the Dzogchen teaching of Guru Garab Dorje, many teachings when Garab Dorje manifested the rainbow body, his most important student, Manjushri Mitra, collected all. And she divided in 3 sessions. How he divided? He divided combining with 3 statements of Garab Dorje. All sessions for having precise, direct introduction for discovering our real nature. All these sessions called Dzogchen Samde. There are many volumes, many tantras belonging to this Dochen Samde. So in the Dochen Samde, we are going very precise way with the experiences. Exactly then at the end, we can have more precise knowledge of our real nature. But maybe sometimes then that is not a final goal. Something missing. Just like we have dropped. Then what we should do? There are many other methods. All these series of teachings of Garbhoja and Tantras putting together, which is called session of the Dochen Longde. Long, it means space. When we say Sam, it means mind. Mind to nature of mind. We are discovering and being in that state. This is called series of the teaching of Samde. De, it means series of teaching. Sam, it means mind. This is the first group, related with first statement of Garbhoja. Second is called Longde. Long, it means space. Space is the dimension how we can have different kinds of manifestations. Different manifestations are very important also for integrating in our real nature. So then in the practice of Dochen Longde, there are different kinds of methods. We can have visions. You remember then, all we have mainly three kinds of experiences in the teachings used, always. In general, everything in our life, everything is experiences. But when we are concluding related with our body in speech and mind, and there are three statements, these experiences. So when we are introducing, for example, we are using only one experience of emptiness or clarity or something like that. But in Dochen Longde, in the same moment, we are using three experiences together and unified that state is called Yerme, no distinctions. We are being that kind of then state. When we are being in that state, then naked our real nature of the state of contemplation. And we do this series, this kind of practices for make sure 100% our real nature. For that reason, then there are many series of practices. Dochen Longde. Then last is called Dochen Upadesha. Upadesha, it means more cigarette methods. But main practice is considered then we have already knowledge, discovered our real nature. And when we have that, how we integrate our body, speech, mind, our life, everything in that state. If we are succeed to integrate everything, we are realized. Realization, it means we are not conditioned dualism vision. We are being in our real nature, 100%. That moment then manifest, which we have since the beginning, our potentiality, sound and light and race, naked. It's a real condition. Realization is not we are building something which we have not before. Just like in Sutra teaching and also Lower Tantra, etc., they have this kind of idea. We are building and developing, and one day then we have kind of realization, manifestation. But in the Dzogchen teaching, realization, it means totally manifesting our potentiality without having any obstacles. Obstacles all are then purified with that potentiality of the state of contemplation. So we are saying this is the supreme purification. So this is the really meaning which we say then, Tachito the Chapa. It doesn't mean we are deciding something with our mind. Sometimes some explanation of Garabdoji's statement, then they say, oh, we decide, we believe this is the real sense. We not change any way. But this is then intellectual way. Not that mean. We discovered that there is nothing we change. For example, when you are seeing, I am sure this is called Vajra. Now you are seeing, you know this is Vajra. I say, please forget. Or please change your idea. How you do change? How you can change? No one can change. This means we are discovering, no? If we are not discovering, then we can change always. Yesterday I believed something, and today I change because I am read some other books, some other ideas, etc. I am constructing something else. There is something to change. So discovering is main point in the Dzogchen teaching. Okay, this is then called Tachito Chapa. Ding Kyoto Chawa. Ding, it means then confidence. How we have really confidence? When we have capacity to discover. There is nothing to change. We discovered. This is then really we have then confidence. Otherwise we can also construct something with our mind, confidence. But not really confidence. We can change also later. We must understand the first words saying we are no remain anymore in the doubt. We discovered. Now we have that confidence. And then Garabdoja said, Din Krotodacha, that means you have that confidence, but it doesn't mean you have confidence and you are constructing something. There's nothing to construct. You have your primordial potentiality. You discovered that. You try to be in that state. Tol it means self-liberated. That is our real nature since the beginning. Just you are being in that state. In ordinary life, we have no that knowledge. We say we have so many obstacles of emotions, negative karmas, etc. That's true. Also in explaining how is the potentiality of Vajra in Vajra Tantra. Is saying our real nature is the then potentiality of Buddha. We have that Vajra. But lobotomatic, that means we have then many obstacles, provisional obstacles. Then we are not seeing, we are not discovering that. When we eliminated that obstacles, we discover how is real nature. So that is what is then giving teaching in the Dzogchen teaching. When we have bad weather, we say, oh, today we have no sunshine. That's not true. Sunshine is always in the sky, there. But we are not seeing because we have very thick clouds. That is just like obstacle. We are not seeing. Same way also we accumulated so many negative karma, potentiality, many emotions, many thoughts related with our minds, all are becoming obstacles. And we are not seeing, we are not discovering our real nature. But when we purify it, they manifest. How is it the real nature? Not we are building and we are producing something new. There's nothing to produce. That is the reason. So then we are knowing that and we are just being in that state as much as possible and then manifest our real nature. These are three statements of Garabdoje, very, very essence. Moron Totepa, that means direct introduction. Tachi Totepa, that means you are not remaining in doubt, not decide something, but discovering, and then you have no any doubt. When you have that knowledge, now you are remaining as much as possible being in that state. That means we are integrating in the Dzogchen teaching. We don't need anything to change. Other traditions, teachings, etc., always there is something to change. Also learn which kind of attitude we need to do. Not only Sutra, but also in Vajrayana, like particularly lower Tantras. But in the Dzogchen teaching, we have no anything. Why we have no that? Because any kind of rules which we have couldn't correspond all our situation. We are living in a time. Time is changing day after day. What explained, for example, rules, Buddha, in the time of Buddha, 2,500 years ago. You know how many years passed already? How can correspond to everything in our situation? Even one day and 2 days also, we are observing, we can understand. Everything changed. One day we have very nice weather, sunshine. One day is raining. Today is raining. Yesterday was sunshine. Already changed. This is called circumstance. Not exist any rule correspond all. Also many attitudes, systems, etc. related with different countries, different culture, different attitude. Not exist same way. For that reason, in the Dzogchen teaching, not exist any rule explanation, which is in the Dzogchen teaching the supreme rule. You are becoming responsible of yourself. This is the rule. In the Dzogchen teaching, it is saying, you try to be present, being aware, knowing how is the circumstance. You should work with circumstance. That means you are becoming responsible yourself. In the Dzogchen way, we are educating also young people from small child. We try to educate that way. We don't need to educate and teach too many things. We say, oh, you should do this, you don't do this. When we are being in a society, There is all educations people receive. People know that. But if we like very much, we love our children, then we are thinking children are growing up. After little children, they are asking father and mother, say, when you are explaining something, they say, why? That is a good moment. Now you explain. They want to know. Not thinking parents are always, even children become big. 16 years old, 17 years old. Some parents, they are always attachment, thinking when small one, then you are holding in your arm, still you have that attachment. That is very bad. You must understand, they are already grow up. They have their word. They have their dimension. Of course, you collaborate. You participate in their dimension. You try to become as much as possible themselves responsible of themselves. Not you are responsible. You have responsibility to help for them if they need. Because you are parent. Same way also docent masters, teachers, always taking care of students. Please learn. Be present, not distracted. Try to work with circumstance. That means you need to become responsible yourself. This is the supreme rule. That corresponds to real condition. So we must understand. For that reason, it becomes very important being present in the daily life. And we should work with circumstance. Sometimes people ask many different questions, complicated questions. Some questions, if I say, oh, you should do like this, I am thinking maybe this is a better way, but I couldn't say. Maybe it doesn't correspond with Sutra teaching. An example. What I should do in this case? I say, you do your best. You try to work with circumstance. This is really, in the Dzogchen teaching, always repeating. Should work with circumstance. Because the circumstance change always. This is the supreme knowledge. So here also essence is these things. So now explaining just a little more direct introduction. Rongo yimba, yengo nonsu, nindepa, kepa wo. So that means Rongo yimba, it means what we discover is our real nature. Not we are discovering the nature of someone else. We couldn't do that. Even I am teacher, I couldn't discover your real nature. There is not exist. Even Buddha Shakyamuni, realized being, Buddha said when he's teaching, I give you the path. But realization depends on you. Buddha never said, you try to increase your faith and I make you enlightened. Nobody can do that. Some people there are saying, oh, there is a very important teacher, enlightened being. It is sufficient you go to see this teacher, and then when you receive a blessing or in the meeting, that teacher, you can have such realization. This is called propaganda. Not real. Not exist anywhere. Otherwise, why Buddha didn't do that? Buddha is enlightened being. Buddha knows very well how many sentient beings in suffering in samsara. instantly all sentient beings enlightened. But that is not possible. What can do is showing the path. If they are participating, they do practice and they can realize. That's the unique way. Also teachers of Dzogchen doing that. So if students, even they are little interested, but they are not seriously doing practice and try to understand application exactly, then teacher couldn't do very much. Some people they are thinking, yes, but teacher can do, but didn't doing these kinds. I want to see teacher personally. I need to meeting with teacher. I need engagement with teacher. I have something very important. Then I say, okay, if you have something important, then we meet tomorrow, for example, at 10 o'clock. Then tomorrow, 10 o'clock, that person is coming and say, please do me direct introduction. What I do? I did already direct introduction if you didn't discover. I couldn't do enlightened you. Even Buddha couldn't do that. So you see, this is called people living in a passive way. You must not be passive, active. If you are acting, even we are doing Vajrayana practice, we are acting, we are sending lights, communicating to enlightened beings, then we receive their wisdom, no? Even in Christian tradition, you are going to the Madonna. You are praying, Madonna, I have this problem, please help me. You are communicating. You are being active. And you can receive wisdom of Madonna. You have that benefit. So we are active, then there are some possibility. But if we are passive, then always we are remaining like a nose of the dog. If there is a nose, a dog has black nose, in summer black, winter black, spring black, all seasons black. But colors maybe change a little in different seasons, many animals. But nose, not change. We are remaining that way if we are passive. So it is very important to understand in the Dzogchen teaching particularly what is communicating, what we really should do in essence, not going too much after titles and names, etc. Okay, that means then introduction is in our real nature. Teacher introducing, working with teacher we can discover. Yengononto, it means when we have no knowledge, understanding, then there is impure vision. Other sentient beings, they are always seeing then dualism vision. It means even we have that our real knowledge, and also we are seeing other sentient beings, they are dualism vision, they are not realized. But in Nyepa it means with methods. If they are participating, they are following, there is a possibility also receive direct introduction, and they can get also in the knowledge. So this is something concrete, essence, how explained it in a direct introduction. So that means even we have impure vision. For example, we are being now human being. We have human vision. if we are being some other sentient beings, maybe they have different visions. This is in the Dzogchen teaching also explained. When we say everything is unreal, how we can understand? Because not exist something concrete. If there is something concrete, then all sentient beings must see same way, but not exist. In the giving example, if one day they are meeting 6 representatives of 6 lokas, one is from Deva, one is from Asura, one is from here, one is from Preta, one is from animals, one is from human being. They are being together at same place. Very nice place, like a garden full of flowers. There is a very nice swimming pool. There is a river, etc. But that is our human vision. Maybe Devas, they have still more beautiful visions than we have, because they are Deva. Maybe representative of here and like a Preta, they are not seeing river. They are seeing something like a fire, a river of the fire, swimming pool of the fire, in example. Because they have not that cause, just like a vision of the human being. This is the reason always not exist something concrete. Otherwise, all sentient beings, these representatives, must see same way. This is one of the explanation make understand not exist something concrete. It is related with our potentiality of karma, production of karma. For that reason we say all samsaric visions, we say karmic vision. Potentiality of karma, then we can see that. So Chinna Rai, it means when we discover our real nature, even we are seeing something different, but always we are knowing it's a real nature. From real nature, then after secondary causes, then and the potentiality of karma, then they have different visions. For example, we say in the sutra teaching, when someone enlightened, becoming like a Buddha Shakyamuni, then we say there is no impure vision. Taparanjam. Taparanjam, it means Buddha's vision is always pure. Because there is no cause of the having impure vision. And then there are also discussions. Someone is saying, if there Buddha has no, then impure vision couldn't see, Buddha, how can you then benefit all sentient beings? Couldn't see. But then, it doesn't mean Buddha has the cause of the vision of impure, and that reason then Buddha is seeing impure vision. Buddha has quantity and quality of wisdom infinite. For that reason, even Buddha has that cause, but how is suffering sentient beings, how they are seeing, Buddha is knowing. This is called omniscience. So, ordinary sentient beings, they have no this. So when we are being in our real nature, it doesn't mean we are not seeing. We can see, but not cause is we have that cause of karma. You're not wrong. That means everything what we are seeing is just in our real nature. Though wrong all potentiality is connected with our primordial potentiality. Just like a mirror, no? Mirror has infinite potentiality. Any kind of then influence secondary causes, good or bad, can manifest instantly. But couldn't have any problem for the real potentiality of a mirror. That means just we are then being in our real nature. Everything. Mato the maron tepa wo. Mato the maron ma it means just like a mother. We are speaking in general. Mother wisdom and son wisdom. Son wisdom, it means when teacher introduces you, direct introduction, you are discovering your real nature, instant presence. This is the son wisdom. When you are being in that state, already that is the son wisdom. That is becoming good example for applying your state of contemplation. But this is not mother wisdom. Mother wisdom is your primordial potentiality, sound and light and rays. We are doing this visualization symbol, but not we are seeing still. Only we are considering we have that potentiality. And then we are using that symbol and relaxing in that state. But when we are dying, before we are being in the ordinary state of Bardo, intermediate state, after death, that is called the state of Bardo of existence. That means work up our mind. Mind is working now. Mind has function. That kind of Bardo is called Bardo of existence. But before we are being in that state, ordinary Bardo, there exists called Bardo of Dharmata. Bardo of Dharmata is an example we should learn when we are falling sleeping. Sleeping and dying is very similar. For example, first, when we are falling sleeping, slowly losing our visions, hearings, etc., then we fall asleep. That is very similar when we are dying in a state of Bardo, of moment of death, dissolving all senses, functions of elements, etc. innerly. Then we fall asleep. When we fall asleep, maybe sometimes a longer time, sometimes a very short time, there is no limitations. And we have no any dream that moment. After a little while, we start to dream. When we are starting dream, we are becoming in a state of dream. That means already woke up our mind. Mind is associated with consciousness of senses. That means the functions of senses, not related with organs. So this is called the mental body. Then we have different kinds of dreams, good or bad. But before we are dreaming, from the falling, sleeping till there, this moment is called natural light moment in a dream. In a night practice, we say natural light. That is a very important moment. So when we did the Guru Yoga and relaxed and we are falling sleeping, we become more and more familiar being in that natural light, also continuation of presence. Continuation of presence, it doesn't mean continuation of mind and thinking and judging. Mind is in the time. Our present is beyond time. Like instant presence is not in a time. So when we are dying, same way also, after moment of death, then we die. But before wake up our mind, there is a natural light state. This is called Bardo of Dharmata. If we have knowledge of teaching and transmission, experience in a lifetime, now then it is manifesting. Our sound and the light and the rays manifesting naked. That moment. This manifestation is called Mother Wisdom. When manifesting Mother Wisdom, we can recognize, because in a lifetime we had already some wisdom. Even there is so many people, but some recognize Mother. If we recognize that moment, our real nature, sound and light and rays, that primordial potentiality, with this potentiality, instantly, infinite accumulation of our also negative purifications, instantly purified. And we can have total realization of Sambhogakaya. This is the reason, if you read some book of Tibetan, book of date, is saying someone is dying, then in a bardo there is visions of rightful manifestations, peaceful manifestations. There are many Westerners, they say, how we can have? We have no this kind of culture, knowledge. These are all Oriental culture. Being like a deity, etc. But not it is culture. This is a transmission. Of course, many transmission originally, Mahasiddhas, when they are transmitted in the manifestations, etc. Then example where they transmitted. They ornaments like ornament of kings, ornament of queens. Then manifesting something Sambhogakaya that way. That are something related, that periods. Then their culture. But not that principle is related with culture. That is the only example, no? Symbol. That is not the main point. Also, it doesn't mean everybody, when they are dying, being in a state of bardo, they are seeing their manifestation rightful and peaceful. Even you are Tibetan, if you never received the teachings or connected this kind of transmission, you couldn't have any this kind of vision. Even you are Westerners, you don't need any knowledge of culture. If you receive that transmissions, knowledge, you can have that kind of also vision. It depends on transmission, just like transmission of Shito. But not necessarily also manifest always figures of deities. This is the example of Shito. Because in Shito there is peaceful form manifestation and the rightful form. Why? Because peaceful form, like with our condition of the nature of mind. Rightful manifestations, it's a movement, energy. All energy manifestation then, rightful manifestation. So that is then our real nature, we have already. So in the real sense then, that is connected with knowledge of the primordial state, sound and the light and the rays. If you have that transmission of Dzogchen teaching, sound and the light and rays, then you can have that kind of vision. You need to also realize that, recognize that with our transmission. This is potentiality of transmission. When you realize, you recognize that moment you are totally realized. There is not exist bardo of existence. This is the final goal of the Dzogchen teaching. If you have no that capacity to recognize, etc., you are then being in a bardo, normal bardo. You see then how is important. Maronto the marontapa, puronto the putapa, that means that mother and the son, just like then we are recognizing and we are being and we can have that realization. Jito the jitapa, that means just unique state which we have, our real potentiality, we are recognizing this is only sufficient. No need 100 different kinds of manifestations, different forms, but unique state. That is our real primordial potentiality. That moment we are recognizing. Ripachi Barondondewa, that means that primordial state is then connected with all our existence. We are recognizing, we are being in that real nature, that is all. No need anything else. Also, your consideration of realization, you are not thinking realization is coming later from somewhere. There is not exist that. Just you are being in that your real nature. That is then realization. Oronto the Tano get torture, Jito the Rono get torture, Toto the Teton get torture. So that means then now you are discovering real your nature. This is the second statement of Gallup Dorje. You have no doubt, not to depend on anything else. Just you, what you discovered, you be in that state. Tanong Tacha, even you have different kinds of visions, different kinds of explanations of states, etc., in different lineage, different teachings. But you are knowing essence is that. So this is in the Dzogchen teaching called the Ji She Kun To. When you discovered one, you discovered all. What is discovered one? Your real nature. When you discovered real your nature, you discover everything. If you want only learning everything, you need many lives. Even you have many lives, you never finish it to learn. But when you discover the real your nature, sufficient for everything. So then there is no also doubt. Although the Teson's torture, that means you are discovering, now you have no doubt. You have no any this kind of problem. You can remain in that state confidently. Iti, that means also that is secret. Now is then explaining the last state. Last state, you remember, we say Ding Toto the Chawa. Ding, it means then confidence. Confidence, we are then knowing this is the also fruit. This is the path, everything. Just we are being in that state, that is all. Wrong la change ba chupu pondata budin. Wrong la change over, it means you are discovering everything is perfected in your state since the beginning. No need anything you search, or you add, or you can start. That means a roller change you. You have that confidence just like a chubu ponza. Chubu, it means rich man. Ponza, it means treasure of the rich man. In the treasure of a rich man, there is everything, no missing anything. Same way, you have already all. Not necessarily you produce or searching from somewhere. You have now this kind of confidence. Even you are thinking, I have my qualifications, but also there are many things, other qualifications, etc. But you are not willing to have these. Automatically you are perfected in your real nature, everything. I myself and others, this is your dualism vision. You are being beyond that. You have no this problem. It is giving example, just like confidence, we are being like a Chakravarti king. That means the king of the universe. Something like that. Tosala chencheba kalan katembatabudin. Tosala chencheba, it means also we are not waiting one day there will be our fruit and manifest realization, illumination. We are knowing we have already perfected that condition. Just manifesting that. So we have that confidence. It is the same example, just like space. Space is then dissolving in space. So there is nothing to dissolve, no? Always space is space. Already we have that qualification. This is called then iti at the end. Ronto the ronto, chito the chito, mabinin jorwa wo. So still repeating. Also how we have self-liberation. In a sutra style, when we liberate some problems, emotions, etc., we need an antidote. In a Dzogchen teaching, we don't need any antidote. In a Tantrism teaching, then explaining, for liberating, we need transformation. We don't need any transformation. Just being in our real condition, that is all. That means self-liberate also, that way. Ronto to ronto. Chito to chito. If we are knowing our real state, primordial state is a unique state which we have, even relatively, there are many manifestations, few dimensions in few dimensions. But we are just then being in that liberation state. Chito to chito. Mabuninjo, it means also son and mother, not remaining something like a dualism way, inseparable, non-dual, being in that unique state of primordial state. That is the same it also. When teacher introduces our real nature, and when we are discovering that, what we discover, what teacher is explaining in general, how is in the Dzogchen teaching our consideration, which is called the base. Now you are discovered that. Wrongship, whatever. You are meeting with that base. Concretely. So just like now, when teacher introduce you, you have that like wisdom of the son. Now is meeting with mother, and then there is no even distinction of mother and son. Being in your unique state of primordial state. Around Tawashipa, Toma Ripanila Tocha. So when we are knowing, we don't need any antidote and transformation, etc. Just being in our real nature, we can have self-liberation. With this knowledge, Ripanila Tocha. So then we are being already in that state. And we are liberated. Not only the Rama Lipa. So this is an example. There are some Dzogchen Upadesha Tantras, like in Nidha Kajur, and also there are many other Tantras explaining we don't need any antidote. Just being itself and then liberate any kind of problem with it. So it is saying, for example, if there is a dirties, that is our consideration, dualism vision. What we claim that we don't need water, we don't need something. Just we are having that knowledge of dirty, it's free and purify with that. So that means everything, when we are being just in that state, we liberate. For example, thought arise. When thought arise, we are not following thought. We recognize we are observing on this thought, facing on this thought and relaxing, thought liberated already. We didn't use any antidote, not any method. So liberate itself, no? This is the example. So, just how is our base since the beginning, how explained? With the three primary wisdoms, which is called then essence, nature, and energy. When we are explaining more intellectual way. How is the essence? Essence is emptiness. How is the nature? Nature is clarity. How is the potentiality? Energy. Energy is without interruption, always manifesting. These are all qualifications which we have in our base. That knowledge is called three primordial wisdoms. So that is then our base. So when we are knowing that, that is also fruit. That is also path. And when we are discovered, then we are also being in this confidence. Example is giving, sometimes then snakes, they are living, sitting, it means complicated, tied their body, but no one need to help for liberating. They liberate by themselves. Same way, everything, even it seems complicated when we are being in a dualism vision. But when we are not conditioned, we are being present, particularly governed with instant presence, everything liberated, self-liberate. Ite. Gara doje yonsu nyange landawi tsultan bizin jamba chini jashin salan jana chema chewe si da chenpo chungwa ronon dewa wechi chena chaya pa chung te jawa hongi tanzu songi shachen si som netu deba chaya pa tunu mende ya intinga shume rane de tripa papte rimbochi shechi samatu sen kwa chi netu pape jamba chini jawa la chua chuchi topidindo tempa churto. So that is explaining how received the Manjushri Mitra this three statement of Garab Dorje. So it is very important. We must keep in our heart very essence teaching. Cheka mishadan sison jyo tanje jyo chunga tabu chungba tawi tan set tabu temba. So this is the statement of Garab Dorje for manifesting rainbow body, and it is something like essence of the old tantras. And it is then very essence of the point of view. Point of view, it means when we are learning consideration of the base exactum, just like a nature of the gold, without changing. That received when in the cemetery of Suvatsat, when she has that there and received that teaching. Cho Tenti Gor at the beginning of the river called Tenti. This is the method, very important method for relaxing suffering of all sentient beings. A path. Sanjay Chishindo Kachila Tuachi also. So we are getting in a real dimension of the enlightenment instantly. So this is then finished this teaching. Okay, this is the really origin teaching, very important. Okay, now we finished moment and we dedicate marriage. Om Dare Dhare Bhendare Swaha Jaya Jaya Side Side Phala Phala Hasha Sama Mama Ko